I wouldn't envisage any at this moment, Chip. Some later on. Yeah, thanks, Tommy. Okay.
Yes, Tommy Burns summing things up pretty well actually, and no great excitement in the first half, fairly incident free actually, no goals, better to come in the second 45. Let's get a half-time thought from Craig Brown and Gordon Smith. What would your verdict be, Craig?
Well, I would say a good first half. It was a low-key game, very much a friendly game. But to go to Norway and come in nothing at half-time is not a bad result. They haven't caused Big Rab to make a save yet. One or two headers, long throw and some crosses going in. But Rab Douglas hasn't really hit a save. Solskjaer, the near post, hit the side netting. And that's all. And I think Scotland can be pleased, certainly defensively. Good organisation, but obviously it's difficult to get the ball through the middle five to the front two.
That has always been our problem, at least in the last few years, Gordon, hasn't it? Creatively, we don't really offer very much. And tonight, I think, one chance maybe, one half chance?
Yeah, I think we're getting easier to please as Scotland fans if we're happy with that, because although Norway's a good side, Scotland didn't play particularly well. They've defended pretty well at times because they're more of a threat with players like Carew and Solskjaer. They're obviously going to create some things. A few long balls into the box. They obviously went for the aerial route, which we're finding a bit of difficulty with at times. But in the main, it took us a while to get going. At the start of the game, I was thinking back to the national anthems were actually more exciting than the initial part of the game, to be honest with you. And
well, ours was.
Ours was.
But if you're preparing for Germany away, that's a good first half. If you did that in Germany away, now Germany are of course a class apart from Norway, but the organisation was good, I think, and although
I take your point, Craig, but having said it, we've still got to play the Faroes and Lithuania at home, and need to win both. Yeah, we haven't seen too much encouragement there, have we?
No, but I do think that we'll cope with these games quite comfortably at home. We'll attack more. Barry Ferguson playing a little further forward tonight, as we see, and I think perhaps he's better. Of course, all our midfield players, Daly, Lambert, Ferguson, are better behind the ball and they create, but we need some forward movement. It's easy to sit here and I've always felt that, to be critical, but I don't think that was a bad first half performance. I think Scotland kept the ball until an unforced error made them give it away. That was the one complaint I would have, giving it away unforced errors.
I agree with that. I think the problem we have is because of the system. We've actually got three sitting midfield players really in the team, if you think about it. Daly's got the job tonight, and then we're asking Ferguson and Lambert to play slightly further forward, but they're actually basically sitting players with the clubs that they play for. And so you're asking them, so you get three there, so they're trying to get Cameron in the game. We've not got a lot of width in the team because the fullbacks are the only place we can get width, Naismith and Ross, but they're playing five across the midfield, Norway, which means it's hard for them to get in the game and get a bit of freedom, and they weren't getting the freedom and we weren't getting the ball out to them, so everything had to be played through the middle. Eventually the players in the middle started to combine quite well. Lambert, Ferguson and Daly and Cameron started to get on the ball and create, but everything was going up through the middle. We're getting very little wide, and consequently I don't think we're creating very much at all. I don't think we've had a cross into the box of any consequence or anything like that, but we've hardly had any forward movement, and I think that's where we need to improve, because even if we go to Germany and play in that game, we don't want to be sitting back defending the whole game. We want to be able to look at it and think we can come out and we can get something going forward and give them problems.
That kind of player Gordon's talking about is a problem for us, someone that can play a little bit for the link, if you like, between midfield and attack.
Well, Colin Cameron's doing the job, and Colin is a lively wee guy and will do it well.
But there's not many like him.
No, there aren't many like him, but he's had few opportunities to do it. So I can understand why Bertie's saying to Barry Ferguson and to Paul Lambert to a lesser extent, get forward, because we need a thrust from the midfield, central midfield. We don't have it. Don Hutchison would provide it if he were playing there, but we can't have two Don Hutchisons, one up front, I always felt that, and one in midfield. I think with the resources we have here in Scotland at the moment, that is the way Scotland has to play. The fullbacks can't get forward because of the wide threat from Solskjaer and Reese, so you don't expect them. We'll have to thread the ball through or look for a set-piece goal.
I wonder, Craig, because of the sort of players we've got available in the midfield, we've got four players in the midfield who are basically all central and don't want to push out wide. We might have to play a way in terms of almost the system, almost like the way Rangers play just now, with a four at the back, three in the middle who are central and tight players who can tackle, and then three up front with two wide. Now, that would be the option, then would be Devlin and McCann with one striker, so you've actually got width then, and they can come back and make it a five at times, so it becomes a 4-5-1.
Yeah.
But whatever system we play, we've got to keep possession. And
that's what they're doing.
Well, yeah.
They've got 4-5-1, but they've got two guys in wide areas who can play in the wide areas.
Who are class, certainly. Yes. But we did, for all the nice football we played at times, we had a disturbing habit that first half, Gordon, of giving the ball away, didn't we?
That was the problem. It's certainly in the early part of the game, and it was one of the reasons we couldn't get out. The possession was quite good at times. We kept it in there, and we got the ball, and playing from the back, it was all in the starting 2/3 of the field, or even the starting third. We knocked the ball about. We're trying to get a bit of space, but you know, even there, we're not really going anywhere. But it's not bad just to keep possession. It's decent play just to hold it. But as soon as we started to exactly, but as soon as we started to get into the front third, more demanding parts, trying to get into going from middle third to beyond third to front third, then we gave it away. And here's an example.
See, that's an unforced error. That's what we're talking about. Exactly great possession prior to that.
Yeah, like this was very good possession. Morris Ross did really well there. We got it across the back four, so we're switching play. Look how hard Norway are working. Look at the movement there of Norwegian players.
You want Gary to get that ball and drive forward with it, his feet, rather than turn it back. But that's in theory, you know.
And there's Gary Naismith.
He gives it away.
We've given it away again.
No pressure on him. An unforced error.
But having said that, as you pointed out, Craig, the defending generally has been pretty solid. We've not really been under any great threat. Carew will always be, especially in the air, but we've been pretty solid.
I think we've defended the high stuff reasonably well. You know, Christian Daly in front of the target player, Carew or Johnson, whoever it is. You see them doing that well. A couple of long throws caused us problems early on. And Morris Ross, to his credit, has blocked a couple of crosses. You must stop them doing that kind of thing. If you're playing against Carew, you block the crosses. Now on that side, on the right hand side, Ross has done it a couple of times very well indeed.
They had good movement there, and you know, getting to byline, that's crucial areas to defend. And although the cross came in, I thought Stephen Presley did really well. That he read that cut back.
Yeah, anticipation.
Here's the danger.
Yeah. Look at the room he's got.
Yeah, that's too much room.
Yeah, Rob Douglas takes a lot of the pressure off there. That's good handling. But I agree with Craig. You save yourself a lot of bother initially if you just go and stop the cross coming in, because with them having so much width and having the five in midfield, they're always going to be getting the ball wide ultimately, and they're going to deliver in the box. We've got to get out and stop that happening. Now the reason we're finding it difficult is because we don't have midfield players also in the wide areas, so the full-backs are actually getting isolated.
Yes, it's always Ross or Naismith that's got the job.
No one else is out there to block the cross, and when you've got Carew and Johnson in to receive the cross,
well, let's take a look. I've got a couple of examples. Carew we all know about, of course. Celtic know about it from the Valencia games, of course. And but I think again Presley and Webster as well. You know, inexperienced international player, but these two have done pretty well.
That's the way to do it. But now, if Wilkie's gone here, Wilkie will present a problem, because if he does the blocking of the throw or the cross that comes into the box, no one should out jump Lee Wilkie.
Yeah, they didn't really trouble Rob Douglas those efforts, but it shows you the threat they've got. I'll be honest with you, I think at half time now, Tommy Bunsey didn't envisage any changes. I would take Daly and Presley off now.
Absolutely.
Because they can't play in the next match. Therefore, what's the point in them staying on? You've already proved that team's not bad together. They've done okay in the first half. They haven't lost anything, they haven't created much, but that's an okay line-up to a certain degree. You've got to give the players a chance, maybe who are going to obviously be playing.
You've got to find out whether Wilkie and Webster can play together.
Can Wilkie and Webster play together? So I think you've got to bring Lee Wilkie on now. I would take Daly off as well. Maybe even put Hutchison into midfield and bring on Maloney up front. Give him a chance and give him his first cap.
Yeah, one solitary break by Scotland, Craig, which actually was a nice piece of football, wasn't it?
A great bit of football, yes. Created by the vision, I think, of Don Hutchison. Barry Ferguson, if I remember, collected the ball in a deep position. There he is. That's where he's best. And great movement here. Terrific to Hutchison. Lovely movement by Cameron, and a first-time ball through to Crawford. Now that's a great move. And the defence were all at sea there, and Scotland with a little break might have got a goal from that.
Yeah, you see the run of Cameron there, which is terrific. Cameron makes a run across the front of the striker, and that's great midfield play. That's really a good attacking midfield play. And Crawford was anticipating the through pass and made the forward run, and just didn't quite get delivered for him. Yeah,
just looking ahead to possible substitution, because there obviously will be some, whether at half time or early in the second half. Craigman and Gordon's already thrown up a few names. Darren Fletcher, I know, is very highly thought of by Sir Alex, and I would think he'll probably get a run at some stage, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I hope so. I mean, I've had the privilege of seeing him several times with Manchester United reserves down in my area there, and he's a superb player. Probably the most exciting young player I've seen in years.
Really, as good as that?
Oh yeah, I'm desperately anxious to see. Of course, Ross Matthews had him through the youth system. We know about Darren, Fletcher, and have known about it. And the media all of a sudden say, "Oh, here's a new boy." He's not new to the system in the SFA, because Ross Matthews brought him through, and he's now ready for beyond the under-21 squad, and now ready for the full squad. Terrific player.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him in action, and Sean Maloney may well get a run as well, as we've said. Paul Devlin's there too. but certainly defensively Lee Wilkie surely will get a run. The Faroe Islands and Iceland is the big match competitively tonight in Scotland's group in the Euro 2004 qualifiers. We're hoping, of course, that the Faroes might just arrest the Icelandic progress. It hasn't happened so far. This is the only goal from the first half in Tórshavn. It came after just 6 minutes. It came from very deep in that Icelandic half, just a straightforward route one ball. The Faroese defending, unfortunately, isn't really all that clever, and Idar Gudjonsson sticks it away very comfortably to put Iceland 1 up. That's the half-time score there. It's the Faroe Islands 0, Iceland 1, and I don't think we're expecting any shocks there, Gordon, really, are we?
No, I don't think so. I think that we get shocked in the Faroes.
It's the only point they've gathered so far.
Absolutely. 2-0 down at half-time, and we looked at it as a good result when we came back for the draw, but I still think it was points thrown away.
But was that not in the Tofter Stadium, the old stadium?
Yes, yeah.
It's harder for the home team there because that's a normal stadium now. When you go to the Tofter, they took Scotland there deliberately, which is really a hilltop, you know, smoothed out, and it's still pretty rough. So it's very difficult for a normal team, you know, a good team, a Scottish team, going up there to play. Now, when you're playing in that stadium in Tórshavn, it's an even game, and the away team has a better chance.
Yeah, especially when they score first. So we sadly are expecting Iceland to pick up 3 there. No goals in any of their internationals so far. We'll keep you posted, of course. Remember too that there's some excellent prizes on offer if you correctly predict Sandy Clark's man of the match. That VIP trip for 2 to the Germany-Scotland game in Dortmund, courtesy of Safeway, and the chance for 8 to 12-year-olds to be the mascot in the Scotland-Faroe Islands game at Hampden on September 6. 09011 110 861. 09011 110 861. Good luck with that. Just 1 or 2 final thoughts before the second half then, live from the Ullevål Stadium. Good point Gordon makes, Craig, that we're now quite happy to see Scotland simply holding it and at 0-0, not going, and that's a sign of our resources, as you said. I mean, we're not being overly critical here or overly pessimistic, are we?
No, but you'll see, even with the good teams on paper, it's difficult to go to Norway. I don't think Norway are quite as good as they were in the past, but it's a difficult away venue. Don't underestimate them, and they are higher ranked than we are in the FIFA ranking. So to go there and to play like that in the first half, I think we're preparing for Germany away. Now that was, I think, a competent performance against, it would serve us well against Germany away. We've got to stop the crosses. We maybe need more width, certainly, both to stop and to get out. But that's, you know, the theory is there, but if you haven't got wingers, and if Neil McCann's hurt and Paul Devlin's not at his best, I mean, we are really struggling in these areas, so you've got to have sympathy with the coach, with Bertie, because you can't, there's no transfer market in international football. You can't produce a player just like that, you can't go and sign one. So with the resources we've got, I think he's done well.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, Gordon, that so many of the players in the Scotland squad are actually getting almost more games for their country than they are for their club, which is, again, as Craig says, an indication of the resources we have.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate aspect, that some of the players aren't regular with the clubs they're playing for, and you know, 1 or 2 in the team, they must be quite fresh because a few of them didn't play at the weekend, and that's what's happening. But I would like to see, I think tonight was all about the performance, and I think we want to see Scotland developing and improving as each game goes along, and at times we're getting a little bit disappointed in that aspect because the Germany game will be a hard one, and I think I'd like to see us put in a good performance tonight, and the results are material, but if we're playing really well, we'll fill you with confidence.
All right.
You say to yourself, going in there, who's played badly? You know, can you identify a weakness there? A guy who's been right out of sorts? You can't really. Now, no one has been absolutely outstanding, but you know, when you're going in as the manager and you're saying, look, can we strengthen this position or that one, and you look at what you've got on the bench, you say, oh, apart from bringing on the Preston North End player, you know, I'm joking, but in all seriousness, when you look there, you say,
been a good, solid,
have we got anyone on the bench who will light the spark? And no, with no disrespect, we haven't really, but we must see, as Gordon says, Wilkie playing, because he'll be brought into the side, and we must take out the guys who are suspended.
All right, so there it is then. No substitutes we hear so far in the Ullevål Stadium tonight. Let's head back to Oslo then for the second half, around a